Hey folks, we finish Unit 3 with 2 lessons over solving. So traditionally, pre-calc kids like to solve. I like to teach solving because it's algorithmic, which means it's a pretty straightforward process. You can do the same moves over and over and over again and you're good to go. So our goal is talking about how to handle 8 to the x equals 6. Now this is different. This is a different question than x to the 8 equals 6. We would solve these very differently because of where the x is. In this case, who's keeping x from being by himself is the 8. 8 to the. What kills x to the 8? What kills an exponent of 8 would be an 8th root. An 8th root. Now I'd have to get my calculator to figure out what the 8th root of 6 is, but that's how we would solve x to the 8th. How do we solve 8 to the x? Well, that's that thing that we introduced called log. I'm going to call this to the. What kills 8 to the would be log base 8. Log base 8. All right, so log base 8 and 8 to the, those things cancel each other out. So these two are gone. Cancel, cancel. So what's left on that side is x equals, and then on this side we have log base 8 of 6. Now the logs that we did earlier in this unit, they always were, I specifically picked them, they'd come out nice. These will not come out nice. So we don't have a log base 8 button, so we do this thing called the change of base formula. X equals log of 6 divided by log of 8. Notice what I did here. I did log of the number divided by log of the base. I always think about this as base as being basement. That's how I memorize this formula. So log of 6, actually I'm going to do this fancy. Log of 6, close it, over log of 8, close it. And we get this decimal. X is approximately 0.86. Now remember, you can always check these. That's the beauty of an equation, is that you can check them by by plugging back in your answer. Now, should we get exactly 6? No, because we rounded. Now, if we wanted to check exactly, we'd have to go back, second enter, and I'd have to store this. Store is down here, STO. Store this as, let's say, alpha A, and then I would go 8 to the alpha A, and I would get exactly 6. Anyway, that's a good way to check. So let's have you try example 2. Pause it if you haven't yet. All right, let's see how you did. I want to kill off 3 to the. 3 to the is killed with log base 3. Now whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other side. So those canceled, I get x equals log base 3 of 16. That is not something I can do in my head. So I'm going to use my calculator to do log of 16 divided by log of 3. And we get x is approximately, all right, let's try it again. This time I'm not going to use the fancy button. Log of 16, close it, divided by log of 3, close it, and we get 2.52. Let's talk about some of the weirdos. E to the, we talked about this last unit, or last section, I should say. What kills? There's two logs that have weird bases. Natural log and then just plain old log. Plain old log is what we do to kill 10 to the. Natural log is what we do to kill e to the. So e to the is canceled out by natural log and then natural log. So I have x equals the natural log of 64. Now what's nice about log and natural log is that we have a button on our calc for those because we use those quite a bit. So natural log, I can just type in natural log of 64 and I get 4.16 rounded properly. X is approximately 4.16. So there's a quick review, kind of or it's not a review, but this quick kind of looking at overall, kind of the basics of the meat and potatoes of what solving with exponentials looks like. We have to use log to undo it. So let's look at a couple where there's more stuff around your variable. It doesn't change the solving process. There's just more work to it. So, I mean, who's farthest away from x on the same side is this always the question that we ask. Now I'm going to do two moves at once here. Who's farthest away from x on the same side is the -7 and the 2 that's connected by mult. Who's wimpier? I'm going to add the 7, and then I'm going to divide that by 2. 10 to the 2x minus 5 equals, I do a lot of this stuff on my calculator. So 11, you don't have to show a ton of work here. Add the 7, and then divide by 2. So I've got it equal to 9 right now. Here comes the new move. Who's farthest away from x on the same side? That's 10 to the. And what kills 10 to the? Now, you can write log base 10 if you want to, but log base 10 and log are the same thing. So I would now have these would cancel, and I'm just left with 2x minus 5 equals log of 9. And this is the part where I would do most of the rest of this on my calculator. So I would figure out what log of 9 is. What's nice about log of 9 is we have a button, log of 9. Take the answer, and then I would just solve the rest of this in my head on the calc. So who's farthest away from x is the -5, so I would add 5. Then I got to kill off the 2 that's connected by mult, so I would divide. You do not need to show a lot of work on these. X is approximately 2.98. Make sure you round properly. You know I'm a stickler for rounding. All right, let's have you try the next one on your own. Pause it if you haven't yet. Go get them. Okay, so I would start off with what's farthest away. -3, that's a 5, then divide by 4. So I would have e to the 2x equals, what did I say? So I'd start with the 2, I'd add 3, and then I'd divide by 4, so I get 1.25. Who's keeping x from being by himself? 2 and e to the. So who's farther away? E to the. What kills e to the? Natural log. So I would natural log here and natural log here. So I now have 2x equals natural log of 1.25. And I would do the rest of this on my calc. Natural log is nice because we have a button for it. Natural log of 1.25, and who's keeping x is 2 connected by mult, so I would divide. I would get 0.11. X is approximately 0.11. Try it if you haven't yet. Pause, try it if you haven't yet. All right, let's see how you did. So I would start off by -5 divide by 6. So I would get 2 to the 3x minus 5 equals 11 minus 5 is 6, divided by 6 is 1. That's nice. Now I've got to kill off 2 to the. 2 to the is undone by log base 2. Log base 2. So I would now have 3x minus 5 equals log base 2 of 1. I can't quite jump to my calculator yet because I've got to remember how to write this. Remember, it's the log of the number, 1, divided by log of the base, which would be 2. Log of the number divided by log of the base. So log of the number divided by log of the base. And then I would do the rest of this on my calc. Add 5, divide by 3. Add 5, divide by 3. Frac that back. I guess I could have known that was 5/3 because 5 divided by 3 is 5/3. So we get x equals 5/3. So pretty straightforward. The only thing you've got to, I think the toughest thing to remember is to convert this formula. How to do weird logs on your calc. So log of the number divided by log of the base. It's worth memorizing. Good luck.